that morning and realized he couldn't remember the last time he'd done something that actually mattered to him. He saw the old man on the bench and almost walked past. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the stillness. In a world that never stopped screaming for attention, Elias sat there like a man who had already heard everything worth hearing and was now simply listening to the silence between the noise. "Mind if I sit?" Daniel asked. Elias looked at him. Those silver eyes. "The bench isn't mine," he said, "but the company would be welcome." They sat together for a while without speaking. The waves crashed. A dog ran across the grass, chasing a ball that no one seemed to have thrown. Finally, Daniel, unable to hold it in any longer, said something he hadn't planned to say. "How do you do it?" Elias turned to him. "Do what?" "Live this long and still want to sit here in the morning, still want to see the day." The old man smiled. It was a slow smile, the kind that starts deep in the chest before it ever reaches the lips. "You're asking the wrong question," he said. "The question isn't how I've lived this long. The question is how I've lived at all. And the answer to that one took me a very long time to learn." Daniel leaned forward. "Then teach me." And Elias did. "The first thing you need to understand," Elias began, "is that most people don't actually live. They exist. They wake up, they react to whatever the day throws at them. They go to sleep, and they do it again. Years pass. Decades pass. And then one day, they look up and realize they've been walking, but they never chose a direction. That's where regret comes from. Not from the mistakes you make, but from the absence of intention. From never deciding what your life is actually for." He paused and pointed to a tree at the far end of the park. It was enormous, an old oak with branches that spread wide enough to shade half the lawn. "You see that tree? It didn't grow that way by accident. A seed fell in a specific spot. It sent roots down into specific soil. It reached toward a specific patch of sky. Everything about that tree is a response to a direction it chose. Not consciously, the way you and I choose, but by its nature. It knew what it was. And because it knew what it was, it became what it was meant to become." He turned back to Daniel. "Most people never figure out what they are. They spend their whole lives growing sideways, trying to be what someone else planted them to be. Their parents, their bosses, their culture. And then they wonder why they feel hollow." Daniel stared at the tree.